And let's get to the details of those stories now. It has been a matter hardly considered important in Ghana until the last few years. It is now at crisis point, and as many Ghanaians join the hundreds and thousands of Africans fleeing poverty. Today, government has confirmed at least 3 Ghanaians were among hundreds of African migrants who were to be auctioned off in Libya by some nationals there. It's the latest on the situation in the North African country, where the sale of hundreds of African migrants has sparked international outrage. Today, European and African leaders, including President Akufo-Addo, have gathered in the Ivorian capital, Abidjan, to discuss the issue of migration. We'll be speaking to Ghana's Foreign Affairs Minister, Shirley Ayoko-Botchwey, who's in Abidjan on this shortly. But also joining us is an expert in migration issues. He himself has been a migrant in Libya and suffered some abuse. First, by the way, let's take you to Parliament for the latest. Joseph Opoku Gakpo is our correspondent there. He joins me live. Hello, Gakpo. What is the very latest? Like I indicated yesterday, we spoke to you in the afternoon, so we know there's this conversation about migration going on. But what is the latest? What has happened? What's new?
Well, we are also waiting for the response that the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Shirley Ayoko-Botchwey, will bring to Parliament when it comes to the urgent question that the ranking member on the Foreign Affairs Committee, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, has filed. But the issue came up again on the floor of Parliament earlier today. The chairman of Parliament Foreign Affairs Committee, Frank Anodompreh, delivered a statement on the situation. And just to quote portions of the statement, he makes the point that the situation of migrants allegedly being sold to slave masters is an unpalatable situation which is frowned upon by many of us, and I think it requires immediate attention. Mr. Anodompreh thinks that Libya is, very much touted and prominent route that serves as a main departure point for refugees to Europe, and so he thinks that going forward, a lot of the international organizations should pay attention to that. Just the concluding part of his statement, he makes the point that the situation is indeed alarming, and that he is calling on players, when it comes to international affairs, to ensure that working with the United Nations, the Libyan government and other authorities, they conduct a conclusive investigation into the matter, because the alleged slave auctions in that country has really sparked an outrage around the world. Let me take a brief comment on that from Master Wood Mohammed. He's the Member of Parliament for Pru West, and he's also the Deputy Ranking Member on the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament. Let's hear from him briefly on this. Honorable, thanks very much for joining us. Obviously, the world is alarmed by the situation that we've seen in Libya, and UMPs have mainly been raising that concern on the floor of Parliament earlier today. What should be done going forward? Honorable Anodompreh is calling for an internationally backed investigation.
Thank you very much. I think, by and large, the Parliament this morning approved or sort of asked the minister as a matter of agency to go in, to step in. And the report we are getting is that they have already taken steps to ensure that Ghanaians, to find out the status of Ghanaians in Libya. And the information is that Ghanaians are not into that stage yet. Meanwhile, about a 50-something number of our Ghanaians are kept in a very, in a separate place, who are not part of the actual decision. But what we are calling is to ensure African Union must step in as a matter of agency to ensure that this critical issue is addressed. At this stage in our history, I don't think Africans will be happy to see this thing happening in the continent. Therefore, African Union, as they are currently at a meeting, are stepping in to ensure that that situation is brought under control.
But Ghana is mainly considered as a major power bloc on the African continent, beyond what you want to see from the African Union as a continental body. What kind of leadership role do you think our president and our country can play in helping bring the situation under control?
At the moment, there is a leader for the African Union, and the leadership, together with our president, the president must take an active role in ensuring that this issue is under control, is brought to the barest minimum, and we must, going forward, ensure that Libya and any other African country will not engage in such activities. In fact, it's a dehumanizing situation that we find our people or Africans or black race is very, very terrible. So I think going forward, must never be seen in the African continent, in fact, in the world at large.
My last question would be, so we are waiting to hear from the minister when eventually she appears to respond.
I want to believe that by the close of tomorrow, the minister will appear before the House to do the House exactly what steps are being taken by the African Union.
So many thanks for speaking to us. That's Master Wood Mohammed. He's the Member of Parliament for Pru West. He's a member of Parliament Foreign Affairs Committee, and he's actually the deputy ranking member. And so, as we heard him there, we are all waiting for when the minister will come brief MPs on the situation. But one of the things Frank Hamadompre, the chairman of Parliament Foreign Affairs Committee, called for was that as soon as possible, the Foreign Affairs Minister herself and other stakeholders to travel to Libya. He just to quote him, he makes the point that he thinks the situation is so critical that we should see a high-ranking government official from Ghana, particularly the Foreign Affairs Minister, visiting Libya and going to see the detention centers there just to be sure that there is no Ghanaian finding himself in that particular situation when it comes to slave trade in Libya.
Gakpo, for that updates. Just in case there's any development before we go off, we'll come right there to you in Parliament. Joseph Opoku Gakpo is our parliamentary correspondent. I'll be joined in the studio by some experts to take a holistic view of the situation. But first, let's watch this video showing some of the abuses being meted out to Africans in Libya.
تسميني مين انت؟ انا من السودان. من السودان؟ والحمد لله هذول الباب الشرطي يبيعون لا 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 مرة مال مالاتي لا 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 الله وين بس هاي السودان لا 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 يا معود لا لا اوفا جيبوا نعمله يا خطير يا معود هذا الجمعة معاقي السودان لو ليش رمال مالكم على شغل اقول شنو موقفها طلع طلع نسيب الصوت طلع نسيبه شنو طلع الساعه ما عندك الساعه من ما عندك هم ما يدخلوا له عقب لا اله الا الله هالي حيتي هالي حيتي وخر وخر شمال يريد القاع لا تروح لا 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 اطلعوا يا روح قدم عليه يجيب على الوعي يلا روح روح لا لا مو وين ماخذ ربه قامت واقف لا تتحرك لا لا بعدين الصلاة معاهم معاهم دول الدواعي هذا من بالي هذا حد الدواعي لا 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 حد الدواعي هذا من السودان جاي قاتل.
Joining me in the studio now is Kojo Wilmot. He's a National Project Officer at the International Organization for Migration. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Also here with me is Jefferson Ashley. He's the Director of African, okay, let me get this right. He's the Director of Africa Migration and Research Foundation and National Trust newspaper. That's a very long one. How come? Why is it so long?
Which one are you talking
the
about?
name.
Is it
the name
Africa
of the group,
Migration?
Africa Migration and Research Foundation.
It's two companies joined together.
Oh, very well. You're welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Let's have a conversation on this. And in terms of Jeff, he's just returned from a parliamentary inquiry into this whole matter. First, let's talk about the videos there that we just saw. You gave us these videos. What's happening in those videos? We see someone obviously beating up someone, but then can you explain a bit further?
Yes, of course. We all know what is going on in Libya now, and Libya thinks that all the crisis started because of missionaries that came in. Libyans.
Oh, you mean mercenaries, like?
Yes, missionaries, yeah.
Oh, missionaries? Because missionaries, they are like more people who are preaching and stuff.
That is what they think. That is how the whole thing started. You understand?
Okay.
Now, those you are saying there, these rebels, when they see any black, whether you are from Sudan, Nigeria, Ghana, they will just...
Okay, let's talk about this video. What is it that we're seeing here?
This is the border of Spain and then Morocco. When you cross the Mediterranean Sea from Spain to Morocco, before you enter Morocco, they have this fence, electrified, which you cannot jump into Spain.
But they are jumping.
So they've been studying the time. When they put off the electricity, it's off, then they jump. So police have to come in, and these people are struggling to get over the fence into Spain.
Okay, so this side is Spain, right?
Yes, you see, one has just fell down, and it's in Spain now. The other side is Morocco.
Okay, so so they're coming from Morocco into Spain.
Yes, they cross the Mediterranean Sea through Morocco to Spain, and then Spain has put in these long fence. And Ghanaians, Nigerians, all West African indigenous, all of them are struggling to enter into Spain. And you can see the way the police are molesting them.
Well, they're not molesting them. They are trying to
when you check the first one, the first one was beating. See, you just watch it carefully.
Yes, but I also saw one of them trying to spit on the police.
and there was running away. And he was chased by the police.
I understand the inhumane treatment, but you do admit that this is so wrong. That
it's
this
illegal.
Is so wrong. Yes, so
it's illegal.
So it's, and they're putting the police in a very difficult position there.
You know, when we look at Europe, their laws are different from us. The human rights laws are more even better off to Africa when you compare that one to Africa. You understand?
So you'd have expected that they would treat them.
Of course.
In a humane
manner. You can't beat them.
Okay.
Of course.
Okay. Let me come to you, Mr. Wilmot. What's your take on the latest outburst of rage? I mean, people are angry about how Ghanaians are being treated, etc., or how Africans or people of African descent are being treated in Libya. What's your organization's position so far? What's happening?
Of course, thank you, and good afternoon to your listeners, your viewers, and of course those watching us. Exactly. Our stance is that migration is a very good thing if it's well managed. The issue and what we see in the documentary there is got to do with the irregular ones. Those trying to cross irregularly. I don't use illegal, irregular.
Irregularly.
Exactly. Trying to cross the Mediterranean to Spain, to Italy, and then the other southern European countries. Our stance is that we should save migrants' lives. No matter the condition that one finds him or herself, the person has some basic rights. The person is first of all a human being. The person has some basic human rights, that those rights should not be trampled upon.
Okay.
So IOM's stance here is to ensure that we manage migration effectively for the benefit of all. Now, we see issues on the footage that we've just seen. Of course, this issue has to do with a lot of sub-Saharan African nationals going through irregular routes and then entering Spain and entering the Maghreb countries like we put Italy, Morocco, Egypt. Exactly. So what we seek to do is to sensitize people, especially the youth, on the dangers of such perilous journeys across the Sahara, and then to North African countries. You see, this has come to the limelight because of the issue that
because of CNN's reports.
Exactly. But hitherto, we used to hear stories. IOM since April 2017 has been really bringing it to the fore to governmental organizations on the exploitations that are currently ongoing, not just in Libya. Libya is what we've seen, but a lot of exploitation happens across the Sahara, those trying to cross the Sahara Desert to Libya. And then when they get to Libya, they undergo a lot of inhumane treatment.
Well, what has been your organization's strategy in dealing with it? I mean, have you been successful, by the way?
Of course, we have a lot of interventions. For instance, we're actively involved in sensitization activities, sensitizing people, especially the youth, on the dangers of irregular migration. And
is that effective? That's something that I keep referring to, because it appears that people are really poised. When they want to go, it's like they're really poised, they want to go. I
have interacted with some potential migrants who, based on our sensitization activities, have really highlighted that they are going to think of it twice. That for me to go to seek for greener pastures in quotes, is the grass really greener out there? And then we have had some instances where some returnees, people who have undertaken these perilous journeys, have returned to explain to us that if they had known these were the kind of risks they were exposing themselves to, they wouldn't have gone. Exactly.
Let me find out from you, Jeff. Have you undertaken this trip before yourself?
Yes.
You have.
Through me, summarize your former president John Dramani Mahama saved Ghanaians that were sentenced to death in Libya.
Okay, so summarize your experience for us.
I have been on the desert myself.
Tell us, what was your experience?
Isn't
okay, so let's try and do it this way. Hold on. Let's try and do it this way. Tell us from when you left Ghana. Why did you leave? When you left,
that
what happened?
Take a very long time.
I know. Summarize it for me.
To go. I went there to investigate.
Okay. Okay. So that was the reason why. Okay.
So I went there to investigate what was going on. And 2008, 4 Ghanaians were executed in Libya. John Kojo Blankson, Charles Ansa, Asaribediako, and Samuel Ayite through firing squad. I was the one that was reporting from Libya straight to all the radio stations in Ghana here.
Okay.
So when I came down, I have to write a petition. What we have seen, some we even put it into a book, which title is When Darkness Fall Across the Desert, which the president, head of state in this country, will giving them copies of it.
Let's talk about your experiences.
So, in fact, experience on the desert, if I start today, I don't think we'll be able to finish
Give us the highlights.
If you give me 5 minutes, just...
5 is too much. Try and make it in 2 minutes.
All right, you know what? Now, the journey is like, you want to travel from here to Kumasi, and you are not getting a straight bus. Yeah. So you have to go from one place to another place. Now, you are traveling through the hands of connection men from one stage to another stage. So now they have to pack you in a Nissan pickup, a well-designed one for the desert. The tires are different from the one we used here. Okay. Now just imagine this pickup loaded with 45 people behind it, and then they cover it because those in the truck are all illegal migrants.
And the journey is how long?
Does it? It's
from when they put you in the bucket of the pickup.
Days. Sometimes you have to travel day and night.
How do you breathe?
The driver only stops for you to eat your food or ease yourself. Finished. Now everybody has got a gallon which contains water. If your water gets finished, that is the end. The only thing you survive on is your urine. That's it.
So did
I
you
have to drink my own.
Urine?
Yes, I did. So when you move, you have to go through Niger, then you enter a place called Duruku. Ghanaians that have been to Libya before, they know what I'm talking about. Duruku, then Agadez, we have what we call Zegedin. Zegedin is a small town where you see only about 10 structures where the driver stops and we should fetch water. Okay. Now, in this truck, we have different people, Ghanaians, Nigerians, Ivorians, mix up, and there's misunderstanding in the truck. So if you stand and you bend like this in the truck, knowing that you are going to bend like this day and night, the drivers are 2. They have 1 mechanic. There's no tree on the desert, purely sand. Now, as early as 6 a.m., the sun is already out, like 12, noon here. You see how the sun is up? Now, so if you want to drink, you drink as early as possible. By 6, 7, you have to finish drinking your water. You can't drink again till 10 p.m. That's it. On the desert, if you short or you run out of water, there's no way your own twin brother or sister will give you water to drink. Never. It will never happen.
So you finally got to Libya.
Now, when we got to Sabah. Sabah is another, I think, the fourth city of Libya. And then you have to struggle your way again. Because when we got in, we realized they were arresting illegal migrants. So you have to hide yourself for some time. Then you have to look for another connection man, then you pay money to. But one thing is on the desert, when you're traveling, you have to hide your money. The only place, the safest place you can hide your money, you fold it and you put it through your arms. Now, on the desert, you meet rebels. When you're not lucky, they stop the car and then they ask everybody to get out. All the women in the car, especially the Nigerian women, they sleep with them unprotected. Most of them get to Libya and they find out they are HIV positive.
Wow.
In Libya, you can't even go to pharmacy or the drugstore to
because
say, I'm buying condom,
you are even an
things.
illegal person.
They don't even sell condom there.
Oh, okay.
They don't sell it to foreigners. You can't go there. Even when you open your mouth, I want to buy the dom will not come and you'll be arrested. Now, when we get there too, in fact, it was very terrible on the road. Now, when you get to Libya, you have to pay $1,500 to get on the Mediterranean Sea. $1,500. Now, before they will put you on the canoe, on the fishing vessel to cross the Mediterranean Sea, you have to go through some kind of orientation. They have to camp you without food for a whole week so that you look slim, your face will look like a rare refugee.
Why?
Yes. All Ghanaians and Africans that have entered into Italy today, if Ghanaians are listening, are all refugees. And they are carrying refugees document. They can't come back to Ghana. The day they come back to Ghana, they can't go back again.
Okay, so they have to present you as refugees.
So they have to look like a refugee. So you know what? When you go to Libya or other part of other Arab countries, when there is war or, let's say, misunderstanding or a problem in other country, it becomes a blessing to the illegal migrants who are there. Because so then you all can of them just are going to go like a refugee from where there's a problem. Okay. So like when Cote d'Ivoire crisis started, the Nigerian agents, Ghanaian agents, they were very happy because they all
going to get lots of money from the boys.
People that are going to travel through the Mediterranean Sea to Italy are going to go as refugees from Cote d'Ivoire.
Ivory Coast. I see. That's a very interesting.
So you see, what is going on in Libya now is a business for somebody. It's a pure business for somebody. Now, they were saying, the CNN report said, they were doing slave trade. This thing has been there for years.
Where people are sold
they don't
for money.
Sell. You see, the story is something. They don't sell
because
them.
One of the Nigerian guys, and I say Nigerian because he has an accent, he says they were sold for $400.
It's a lie.
Why do you say so?
He was not sold. Okay? They hold on ransom. That's what they've been doing. When the Libyans, you get into their net, they will tell you, because of this crisis they have there, they will tell you, call home and pay this amount and then we leave you.
Okay.
This is what is happening.
So they call for their families to send the money.
And there is a video, I wish your outfit here will roll it.
Which of the videos?
They've captured one, they have captured one in a room and they've tied his neck, beating him and blood was all over. And he's saying that he's going to call home so that they will send the money. And I wish if they wrote this video, so that would say.
Production tells me that the video is too bloody. It's not something we can put on there.
So you see, and you can get it from that video. So what is happening? We know what is happening in Libya is not good, but the truth must be told. Now they said they are selling the people. Who are the people buying those slaves?
Do you know?
The one who came up with the story should be able to tell us. Is it the Arabs that are buying the people? Or they are selling them to the foreign, the Europeans.
Because your theory is that they are being bought by they're paying.
No,
their own families are paying for them.
They are people who have breached the immigration laws, and they have been captured.
Yeah, so that's a different case.
And some of them too, they are being detained at the detention camps that they want their embassies or their countries to come and then pick them.
Right. So there are different, issues,
That's
right?
it.
There are those who have been arrested for staying there illegally. There are those who are being detained for their home countries to verify who they are. And there are those who are being held captive by people and asking their families to pay ransom.
Some are also using Ghanaian passport and dealing in cocaine.
In Libya.
In Libya. Some of them. And especially, I've met a number of Nigerians who were using Ghanaian passports. You understand?
I've seen a couple of them myself.
All these things, see, they've captured all these people because of all the issues around them.
Different issues
Not that they are selling, so they should come out and tell us, is it the Libyans that are buying them, and what are they buying them for?
Okay. Well, there's a conspiracy theory, actually, that they take their body parts and that they sell their body parts. For example, liver and all of those things.
It's a lie.
You don't think it's true?
It's never true.
Let me come to you, Mr. Wilmot. I don't know.
Can I highlight some?
Okay.
Exactly. He highlighted the dangerous nature of the journey.
Yeah.
And this is primarily what we are seeking to focus on, to let people know of the dangers. You see, we have set up this Migration Information Center through sponsorship from the European Union delegation in Ghana, where prospective migrants or potential migrants can go for information.
How do you know they are potential migrants?
Anybody who has
they won't tell you they want to go.
No, you see, this is being done in a clandestine way.
Okay.
People are smuggled, people go through irregular routes, and then find themselves in precarious conditions. What we are seeking to do is that we have collaborated with the Ghana Immigration Service to make sure that we make you know the truth. Look, I did explain.
He's smiling,
yes,
just like I am.
Exactly.
Just like I am. Because you see, I'm wondering how the strategy will be, the success rate of this strategy. Because if I want to struggle and I want to travel and I want to do so in an illegal manner, I'm not going to tell you.
Yes, but this
so
is
how are you getting the people?
No, it's an open center, open to the general public, not just for the general public. So like now, with the condition in Libya, we expect that families will contact this Migration Information Center and the Migration Information Bureau to find out what the real situation is, what interventions are in place to help support stranded Ghanaian migrants in Libya now. Look, as he did explain, a lot of them die on their way in the desert to Libya.
Yeah.
A lot more are dying in their quest of trying to cross the Mediterranean.
A lot more are going now.
Yes, and so something needs to be done.
Hold on, because you've spoken for a while, let me just allow him to land. What do you envisage we can do going forward? I mean, what is it? What more can we add to the efforts that's already been made? Is there anything?
Of course, migrants moving from Ghana has over the years been mostly for economic reasons. They're going to seek for greener pastures to come and better their livelihoods. Now, so then, as a developing country, we need to do more, put in place interventions like opening up more job opportunities and things that can help them to stay.
Okay.
But what we also have come to realize is that some are also victims of false information. And so we need to work in ensuring that we make the real situation known to everybody.
Well, hopefully it will work, because I don't know. It sounds very...
I just want to say something. Do you know our problem as a nation?
The problems are many.
The institutions are not working. I am telling you, the institutions in Ghana are not working. Overdose of English is disturbing us. Overdose of English is
You think there is a solution that
now,
you know
we
about?
need to do the practical thing.
Which are?
Do you know the African Migration Research Foundation been going all over the entire country, educating the populace on illegal migration and human trafficking and visa fraud issues?
So
now go to African Migration and Research Foundation on Facebook. You see all the secondary schools we've been to, churches, villages, towns, with my own sponsorship.
So you think that this is something that maybe
collaboration with Immigration
like
Foreign Affairs, they don't even come in our programs. The truth must be told.
Tell it.
If we want to save or ravage the situation, we must speak the truth. People are sitting in air-conditioned offices. They need to get out. Go to Brown Ahafo. They have been migrating a lot. When you want to see serious migration, go to Brown Ahafo. I've been to Nkransa, Techima, Drobo, Doma, where, name it. When you go to all the radio stations in Brown Ahafo, they will tell you Classic FM, Storm FM, name it.
So you've gone out trying to reach them with the
have
information.
to come in.
Mr. Wemo, do you agree that what he's saying is actually
That is
the
a
best
fact.
way of dealing with it? Is that a way you have tried to deal with it, or would you like to partner perhaps this organization to get this done?
No, for the International Organization for Migration, our doors are open. We have partnered, as we speak, I did indicate that we've partnered with the Ghana Immigration Service to set up this Migration Information Center.
Okay, but you see,
And
seriously,
then the Migration
but
Information
seriously, the
Yes.
Migration Information Center, which is what I was saying, that I don't know how I am going to come to you and tell you that I'm going to travel. But for example, if you step out and you go to, for example, the Brunafo region,
Brunafo, yes.
where most of them seem to migrate from, you will be able to reach them, and people talk, so then you can reach them. So
no, I didn't say the Migration Information Center is in Sunyani.
Right.
They are just not there to wait for people to visit them.
Okay.
They are also proactive. So they carry out sensitization activities in the places he's mentioned.
Okay.
They've been to Domahinkro, Nkranza, Drobo. Exactly. But
would you think the IOM can, for example, partner his
yes,
organization?
we partner with...
Or you already have a
talking of
partnership
IOM?
with them? Yes.
Are you talking of IOM? Viewers, I went to IOM. My letter is there to collaborate with them. They have even refused to write or even reply.
Is this true, Mr. Wong?
I was then with
hold on, let's get a reaction.
before.
Let's get reaction.
Okay.
Is this
well,
true?
I don't know.
You don't know about it.
Them.
Okay, so the
I have a copy. I'll bring it to
the
show
organization
you
is
for viewers to
Africa
see.
Migration
Then
and
Research
Research Foundation. Do you
Exactly.
know
But-
of any such arrangement?
I can give you a
Do you know
tall
Mr.
list
Piansa?
of...
Mr. Piansa was
Okay,
was
let
there
him allow him
before.
to speak.
Mr. Piansa,
No, hold on,
when-
allow him to speak.
Okay.
Allow him to speak.
All I'm saying is that we are not operating as an island. I can give you also a tall list of other civil
Organizations that you're
society
working with.
organizations
Okay.
that we have partnered with
Okay.
in the quest of us letting people know on the dangers of irregular migration
Okay.
and the need for them to travel safe. Mind you, we don't even just go to speak, but we also use returnees who have actually experienced these journeys to tell their own stories, to let people know on the dangers that are associated with irregular migration. But of course, we are happy to know he's on the ground. We would always find out, I would find out the status of his letter. And of course,
We'll see how we can take it
yes,
from
because
there.
that is for us one of our core activities as an intergovernmental organization to advance the understanding of migration issues.
Okay.
So if he is on that quest, we are willing to.
Okay.
Do you know my
Let me
advice?
take your-
They should-
let me
they
take
should
your
contact-
your final-
They should contact the right people.
What do you
When I say the right
what do you
people,
mean the right people?
you see,
You can't be the only right person.
No. I'm not saying I'm the right person.
Okay.
You see, I am doing what I'm supposed to do to save
How do
motherland
they know the
Ghana.
right people?
Whether I'm being sponsored or I'm not sponsored. Almost 17 years now, I've been on the field and nothing will stop me.
So when you say right people, who are you recommending?
You see, if they want me to give them recommendation, when they see me, I'll give them the recommendation.
But if you say they should stop dealing with the wrong, they should deal with the right people. Well, then we want to know what
It's
you
a
mean
general
by
thing
the
I
right
just came out with, that they should deal with the right people.
Okay.
Okay. Now, go to Brunafo. Go to Ashanti region. There are areas when you go there, you mention Libya. People will even point their houses that they have Libya bogus. And when you sit them down, they can tell you a lot that is happening.
Okay.
Sometimes they talk to people that were on the way going, and one way or the other, they couldn't get money to further their journey. And then they've come back. So the little they saw on the road, that is what they give to you. But those that have passed through from 1A to Z, those are the people I'm saying, they are the right people.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going to take your final words, but the president has spoken about it. We're told that government is going to be represented at this EU-AU meeting that's happening in Cote d'Ivoire. In Parliament, they're asking the ministry or the minister to come to the floor of Parliament and answer questions about. They're actually asking the minister to travel to Libya to look out for Ghanaians who are there. Let me take your final words on your expectations of how Ghana should deal with this problem.
Of course, this issue of irregular migration cannot be
Dealt
managed by just one entity. We need all concerted efforts. We are happy to have civil society organizations like him also in his quest to advance to ensure that people get to know the dangers. Like we are doing now, resourcing some key institutions for them to be able to perform their mandated roles effectively, like the Ghana Immigration Service, to carry out sensitization activities, to sensitize people, especially the youth, on the dangers of irregular migration. You see, we are also actively involved in supporting the return. People are stranded in Libya. Through our joint efforts, I think from April till now, we have supported in the return of close to 241 Ghanaian nationals to return from Libya.
Okay, so you send them money or you bring them home?
No, we organized some chartered flights, opened the tap for them to return voluntarily.
Okay.
When they come, we support them through psychosocial counseling support to prepare them to be able to effectively reintegrate back into their societies. Because mind you, if you don't prepare the person, no matter the kind of support you give, when they go and they are faced with same circumstances that made them migrate through irregular means are still prevalent, they will fall prey to it and go.
Okay.
So we are empowering people for them to really understand the dangers that are involved. And then those who haven't been fortunate and have ended up being victims are supported to return. As I did indicate, our utmost priority is saving migrants' lives, ensuring that migrant exploitation, as has been highlighted in Libya, is reduced to the barest minimum.
Okay.
And then you see, now it's come up as to an issue that has to do with Libya. But there are other issues that are currently
that's something that you've mentioned already. Let me find out from you ask you to tell our viewers what to expect. You're part of the JoyNews DW town hall.
Yes.
You're going to be talking to people. So yesterday we hosted some of them. So tell us what tell our viewers what to expect and why they should come for that.
No, of course, we are here to drive the message home, to ensure that people understand the issues that are ongoing, the dangers that are associated with irregular migration, and the need for people to travel safe. You see, when you speak to these returnees, they also make you understand that Ghana is not a failed state. There are opportunities in Ghana where if you also try to tap or take advantage of these opportunities, you can also be comfortably engaged here in a subsistence venture that will not allow you to fall prey to these dangerous recruitment agencies.
Let me take
go through irregular means to try to
travel.
Exactly.
Let me take your final words. What are your expectations of how Ghana can deal with this issue?
The truth is one. The truth is one. Must we sit down to watch them go, then we spend money to bring them back? It doesn't sound logic. People in the cities, in Accra here, they don't travel to Libya. I am telling you, if you like, go and do research. I'm throwing a challenge. They don't go to Libya. I can mention the countries they love to travel to.
Tell us
those that travel to Libya are those from those Bono Hafo, Ashanti region.
That's something you've mentioned already. Now I want you to tell us.
So most of the programs that we think, all these seminars and talk show and blah blah,
it's a town hall meeting.
Should be extended to those areas.
Okay. What about government? What are your expectations of government and institutions?
Government is not doing anything. We only speak English to deceive the populace. I'm telling you the truth. Look, we are just speaking English to deceive the people.
In Parliament, they are requesting that the minister goes to Libya. Do you think that will help?
The minister has my petition, 3 petitions. 3. He has not replied 1. I have given him, I've given her footage, including the book that will guide her. No single reply. I have former President Mills' petition with me. Letter reply. A petition I wrote to former President Mills. I have a copy. His Excellency, former President Mahama, I have it. Look, I have written, I don't want to mention any state officers that we've sent letters, petitions, and then they care less. If not because CNN came out with this story,
we wouldn't have heard.
They all know what is happening.
Okay.
They all know.
Okay.
I've given them petitions. They have letters and videos for them to see what was happening.
Okay.
Because CNN came out and everybody was talking. Europe is talking. America, Canada,
so
everybody, and Africa is not
talking.
talking. That is why they are now trying to package a whole this thing. So I'm advising government to get in touch with the NGOs. Immigration and Foreign Affairs cannot do this thing alone. IOM cannot do this work alone. They need the NGOs who are dealing with migration issues and human trafficking issues to what? Collaborate with. Some of us, we go to the, we do the practical aspect, we go through the desert. And I've been to so many countries and so on. Okay. I'm still going. Okay. So they need people like us to help them, tell them this is the right place to go, this is the channel you should use. Then at the end, we all achieve one goal.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming. It's been a very interesting conversation. We still look forward to that town hall meeting. Come, let's talk about how we can deal with this thing. I should see you there at the town hall.
I've not been invited, so.
Oh, really? Okay, well, we're inviting you.
Ashanti region to talk to my people.
We're inviting you now. It's open to the public. Anybody at all is allowed to come. It's happening at the University of Ghana on 30th November, that is tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. So you're welcome to come and speak your mind, because we are bringing the stakeholders, we are bringing representatives from government and people in state organizations. So this is a nice opportunity for you to come and tell them your peace of mind, just as you have done here. Thank you very much for coming once again. I've been chatting with Kojo Wilmot. He's a national officer, International Organization for Migration, and also with the very vocal Jeff R. Ashley. He's CEO of the Africa Migration and Research Foundation and National Trust newspaper. We're talking migration.